You just learned the truth. A partner undercut you. A friend leaked your plans. A lover chose convenience over loyalty. Your chest burns. Your mind races. Your hands want movement. This is where most men lose the war they could still win. They react. They broadcast hurt. They make enemies a spectacle and themselves a target. Machiavelli would grab your wrist and say, "Still your face, sharpen your sight." The first hour after betrayal is not for speeches. It's reconnaissance. Power bleeds when you dramatize. Hold posture. You don't rush to punish. You secure the perimeter. Who knows what? Who saw what? Which bridges are ash? Which are tinder? Which are worth water? Betrayal exposes more than a traitor. It maps your vulnerabilities. Take notes in silence. Anger is a fog the disloyal rely on. They expect you to swing blindly so they can play the victim and recruit the timid. Deny them that theater. Reputation is your currency. The newly betrayed man who keeps command of himself becomes more dangerous, not less. Your calm is rumor-proof armor. Assume every word you utter will travel. Every message will be screenshot. Every confession will be weaponized. You don't owe anyone a confession. You owe yourself a plan. Start the ledger. Costs, positions, leverage. Ask the only questions that matter. What outcome restores strength? What move preserves options? What signal warns others without trapping me in a feud? Machiavelli prized outcomes over emotions, timing over noise, reputation over revenge. Remember, retaliation is a tool, not a reflex. Sometimes the knife you want to throw is best used to cut new alliances. The betrayed crave purity. Burn it all, name names, salt earth. Resist. Purity is expensive and rarely strategic. Your aim is not to feel clean. It is to be formidable. Close taps, lock access, audit keys and channels. Quietly move resources out of reach. Make disloyalty unprofitable before you make it painful. When the ground is stabilized, only then consider the theater of consequence. And if people study your face, let them find granite. You don't post quotes, you don't subtweet, you don't beg the crowd for sympathy. You reassert gravity, reliable to allies, opaque to enemies, legible to yourself. The first hour is about freezing the field. After that, you choose the terrain. The man who controls the terrain rarely needs to swing hard, because he makes everyone else step carefully. Betrayal is a flare. Use its light to measure distances, not to burn your house. Intelligence first, posture second, then the decisive stroke, if it's still required. Retaliation feels righteous, but strategy asks for math. Before any blow, define the purpose. Are you deterring copycats, removing a threat, signaling standards, or feeding pride? If the answer is pride, sheath the blade. Pride seeks applause. Power seeks position. Machiavelli's rule: do nothing that reduces your future choices. Rage narrows futures. Calculation multiplies them. Map the opponent. Are they a lone opportunist, a proxy for larger factions, or the tip of a rival network? Hitting a pawn loudly can crown the hidden king. Sometimes quiet suffocation, cutting access, drying influence, kills the campaign without coronating your traitor as martyr. Your options: immediate public correction, delayed surgical pressure, or strategic withdrawal that leaves them with spoils that later ruin them. Each option has a reputation cost, a resource cost, and a risk of escalation. Public retaliation deters, but it fixes your name to the feud. Expect audits, gossip, and both sides fatigue. Private consequence lacks spectacle, but preserves flexibility. Insiders learn, outsiders guess. Withdrawal forfeits ground today to trap tomorrow's move. It's useful if the field itself is poisoned, or if victory would be Pyrrhic, expensive, noisy, and small. Think in sequences, not scenes. If you strike, what is Act 2? Who replaces the removed? Which bystanders become disciples or enemies? If you withdraw, what structure protects your flank while you reconstitute strength? In all cases, script your proof of life. A visible win elsewhere, so observers read your silence as selection, not surrender. Reputation management is geometry. You minimize angles of attack while maximizing surfaces for loyalty. Keep your message simple and repeatable. Standards were violated. Access adjusted. Mission continues. That tells allies what world they live in and denies adversaries emotional fuel. Don't explain the whole mosaic. Let them feel the pattern. Assess your tools. Leverage contracts, incentives, quiet endorsements, and the cold drift of exclusion. Build alternate channels so that removing one link doesn't stall the machine. Train your replacements before you need them. The best retaliation is continuity. Your ship sailing on schedule while theirs takes on water. Finally, timetable your emotions. Give anger a clock and then banish it. Schedule a short council with 1 or 2 ruthless but loyal minds. Decide, document, move. Lingering in outrage invites mistake and invites theatre. Machiavelli's counsel to princes applies to modern men. Make necessary cruelty swift and benefits continuous. Then return to building, because buildings outlast grudges. Your enemies read hesitation like poets read commas. Deny them the pause. Conclude decisively, then flood the timeline with progress until the betrayal becomes a footnote to your momentum. Sometimes the board is rotten. The coalition is contaminated. The audience is fickle. And winning the current fight would only secure a throne in a crumbling hall. Machiavelli's hard lesson. The retreat you choose today can be the ambush you spring tomorrow. Withdrawal is not surrender when it preserves force, narrative, and nerve. First, reframe the exit. You are not running. You are reallocating. Announce a new priority, advance a parallel project, or pivot to a cleaner arena where your strengths scale. The message must be simple and impersonal. Standards first, mission first. Avoid naming the betrayer. That turns your exit into their coronation. Let them inherit the mess they engineered. A man who always needed your gravity will learn what orbit costs. Second, make scarcity your ally. Reduce access to your time, name, and resources. Scarcity increases value and exposes dependence. Those who betrayed for attention will discover that attention feeds on you. When you go dark, their banquet becomes a famine. Silence is not emptiness, it's pressure. Say less, do more elsewhere, and let the market of loyalty adjust. Third, trim with ceremony. Close accounts cleanly. Return what isn't yours. Document boundaries. Ritual matters because it signals finality. It tells the room there will be no endless negotiation, no half-open doors. The betrayed who linger at thresholds invite pests. Machiavelli admired decisive closures. Burn only the bridges that lead backward. Fourth, leave a lighthouse. You want friends and fence-sitters to find their way back. Publish the standard you enforce, the door they must knock, the proof you'll accept. Make redemption possible but costly. Mercy without terms is an invitation to repeat offense. Terms without mercy breed unnecessary enemies. Balance is prudence. Finally, seed a success. Within weeks of withdrawal, engineer a clear public win. New client, new partnership, visible build. The optics matter. The world needs to see that your movement is forward, not away. Narratives harden quickly. Cement yours in stone. He shifted terrain and grew. The traitor's best hope is your fixation on them. Deny them residence in your mind, and they become tenants of their own declining house. The history that flatters builders forgets who baited them. Give history material it can praise, structures, systems, standards, and it will quietly erase the clamor of lesser men from your chapter. There are moments when withdrawal invites poaching and quiet measures fail to educate. Then you must act, not to soothe your anger, but to instruct the room. Machiavelli's doctrine: punish rarely, punish clearly, and punish proportionally to the audience you intend to teach. The point isn't pain, it's policy. Choose the forum like you choose a weapon. Public consequence deters the many but inflames the sentimental. Private consequence preserves peace while educating the watchful. Ask, who needs to learn, and what lesson? If the betrayal was theatrical, allowing silence may look like consent, then a visible boundary is required. If it was discreet, a discreet correction preserves everyone's ability to work again without permanent scorches. Design the consequence to remove capability, not just dignity. Cut access, revoke credentials, cancel preferential terms, reroute relationships that once flowed through you. Keep receipts. If lawyers or contracts exist, use them. If norms and customs are your leverage, invoke them. A calculated boundary teaches more than a public meltdown ever could. The traitor should find fewer doors open tomorrow than today. Avoid the intoxication of humiliation. Spectacle is expensive and contagious. It trains your followers to seek drama, not results. You are building a culture, not a coliseum. Speak once in measured language, then return to work. Let the machinery of your standards do the grinding. Deterrence isn't volume, it's reliability. Time your strike. Too early and you look impulsive. Too late and imitation spreads. Establish a cadence. Investigate swiftly. Decide privately. Act decisively. Move on publicly. If asked, repeat the same sentence. Standards enforced. Consistency is terrifying to opportunists because it removes their favorite gamble, your mood. Always preserve an exit for the lesser offender. Lesser men fold when given a bridge. Reserve annihilation for those who threaten the foundation, not your feelings. A prince who destroys lightly raises enemies faster than he can bury them. But a prince who never destroys invites wolves into the nursery. Finally, audit yourself after the strike. Did the action strengthen the institution, clarify the standard, and conserve your attention? If not, you indulged. You didn't govern. Deterrence is successful when you need it less over time. If you're swinging weakly, you're not ruling, you're raging. Machiavelli's wisdom endures. Rule your passions first, or your passions will rule your policy. Remember the witness effect. Most people will only ever encounter your justice through rumor and one screenshot. Craft for that distance. Short, calm, unambiguous, defensible. You aren't writing for the guilty. You're educating the undecided. Make it easy to stand with you and hard to stand against you. After betrayal, the most dangerous weapon isn't a dagger, it's a story. Narratives crown martyrs, smear builders, and recruit the lazy. Machiavelli would have you rule the story by behaving as if every observer is rational but busy. Give them a simple, repeatable account that matches what they can see with their own eyes. State your North Star and stick to it. We defend standards, we continue building. Then live that sentence relentlessly. Avoid long explanations. The more you talk, the more you invite cross-examination, and the less you look like a governor. Let outcomes be your paragraphs. Launches, hires, deliveries, clean partnerships. People trust a calendar stuffed with execution more than any press release. Invest in credible messengers. You don't need a chorus. You need a few respected voices who can vouch privately that you are firm and fair. Treat your allies well in public and even better in private. Reward loyalty with access and opportunity, not gossip. When you incentivize dignity, your circle becomes a firewall against slander. Draw lines for reconciliation. Not everyone who failed you is a villain. Some are simply weak. Publish a path back that costs them something visible: work, time, reparations. Mercy without a bill encourages recidivism. Vengeance without end shackles you to yesterday. Your policy should create more loyalists over time, not fewer. Beware the vendetta trap. Enemies will bait you into endless sparring, tagging your name, poking your pride, crafting theatrics that tempt you to reply. Decline the duel. Replace reaction with production. Flood the horizon with proof you're busy. Nothing humiliates a petty rival like your indifference paired with momentum. Keep the personal personal. If romance or friendship seeded the betrayal, resist the confessional urge. Privacy denies parasites their feast. A man who protects intimacies, even when wronged, collects the respect of quiet, powerful observers who know they could trust him with their own fragile matters. Audit your channels. Shut down leaky loops, retire compromised platforms, and centralize announcements. Your communication should look like your leadership: concise, steady, unemotional. Err on the side of undersharing and overperforming. Reputation is compound interest. Guard the principal, deposit daily. Those who need spectacle will never be satisfied by your restraint. That is their poverty, not your problem. Your discipline in story is a daily referendum on your sovereignty. Win it by refusing to audition for roles beneath your station. Betrayal is a chapter, not your title. Machiavelli's counsel isn't to live in suspicion, it's to govern with memory. You don't become paranoid, you become precise. Your revenge, if any, is the state of your house. Orderly, growing, hard to infiltrate, easy to admire. Set your enduring posture. Open hand to competence, closed fist to treachery, steady gaze to everyone. Make standards explicit, onboarding rigorous, offboarding swift. Move authority closer to performance and farther from sentiment. Establish succession in every role, including yours, so no one can hold you hostage. Systems are the antidote to melodrama. Create a reconciliation doctrine and a red line doctrine. The first lists what a contrite offender must do to return: confession, restitution, probation. The second lists what can never be forgiven: violations that threaten the mission or endanger people under your banner. Publish neither as a manifesto. Live both as practice. Consistency outlives slogans. Invest where trust compounds. Mentor the loyal. Promote the competent. Replace proximity privilege with earned privilege. Host small councils where truth can be spoken without theatre. Encourage dissent that aims to improve. Crush intrigue that aims to enthrone. Teach your people the difference and reward accordingly. Then look outward. Use the clarity gained to choose better allies, cleaner markets, saner tempos. Betrayal refined your filters. Let it refine your aim. Expand with partners who value standards over gossip and output over optics. Your network becomes a moat when it is built on aligned incentives, not flattery. Finally, ritualize closure. Mark the lesson, archive the evidence, and stop telling the story. Leaders who cannot stop reliving their wound convert a single act into a personality. Don't be the haunted prince. Be the builder who survived a storm and doubled the port. You will be tested again. Expect it, price it in, and keep moving. The goal was never to feel avenged. The goal was to remain sovereign. Some enemies you outlast, some you erase. Most you starve with your progress. In the end, the best answer to betrayal is a kingdom that works so well the treacherous are forced to live outside its walls, narrating their regrets to each other while your banners keep rising. And when the night is quiet and the memory knocks, remind yourself, you did not waste the wound. You converted it into structure, into standards, into a steadier hand. You did not chase every insult, you chose the future. That is the discipline of rulers. Judgment over impulse, construction over catharsis. Keep that creed, and betrayal becomes what it secretly offered all along. Free intelligence, paid for by the foolishness of others. If this reset your aim, say your next move below. Like and subscribe if you're building standards, not vendettas. Share this with a brother reeling from betrayal who needs a map, not a meme. We don't chase drama here, we build states. Now step up.